Good afternoon, Brian.
Good
Kerstetter.
afternoon. Good afternoon.
Well, I've got a few questions for you regarding your candidacy for Union Snyder County Judge. The first is, why do you want to serve as a county judge?
Well, I would say that I've sort of devoted my life to public service. I've been involved in the district attorney's office off and on now for 17, 18 years. My father was a public servant. My mother was a nurse who served in the State Correctional Institution at Muncie. So public service is something that's always been in my blood. It's something that I'm very much interested in. This seems to me to be the logical next step for me in my public service career. I think that I'm young enough to be able to devote at least one term, if not a term and a half, or possibly even 2 terms. So we don't have to worry about replacing someone in very short order if I'm involved in this particular seat. Public service is just something that I've always been interested in. So that's the answer.
Why should residents vote for you?
Because I'm the most qualified candidate. 60% of what common pleas judges do, and it may even be in excess of that, are family law cases and criminal cases. For 22 years in my private practice, I've been handling almost exclusively family law cases. We've practiced in other areas, certainly. There really isn't an area that a common pleas judge would hear that I have not been involved in the practice of law, but the vast majority of what we do in my practice is family law cases. And then, as I've said, thousands and thousands of cases as a prosecutor has trained me well to handle those types of cases, and I'm uniquely qualified in that regard. The other 35-40% of cases that judges hear are going to be in the civil arena, and those have been my other areas of practice. So all those things give me those unique qualifications to serve as the next judge, and I hope that the members of the public see that I'm the most uniquely qualified for the position.
How will you handle conflicts of interest?
Well, conflicts of interest are very clearly specified in the rules of judicial conduct, and whenever a judge believes that they cannot be fair and impartial in a case, then they are duty bound to recuse themselves. So when conflicts of interest come up, I step aside. Fortunately, as most of you know, the 17th Judicial District is 2 counties, so we do have another judge available in matters where a judge has to recuse him or herself. We have senior judges that can participate in cases. Unfortunately, however, the lack of having another judge to be able to hear your case is not a basis to not recuse oneself from hearing. So that one's actually very easy because the law tells us what we have to do. So it's about fairness, it's about impartiality, and whenever that can be questioned, we're even required to avoid the appearance of impropriety. So whenever those matters come up, we're duty bound to step aside and let someone else handle the case.
What reforms, if any, are needed in the justice system?
That's a very good question. We need to figure out a way to ease the burden on the already strained taxpayers when it comes to incarceration of individuals. We need to try to find alternatives to incarceration the best we can. We have treatment court programs, actually a very good one in the 17th Judicial District. There are veterans courts programs. There are mental health programs that are available, and those programs are designed to reduce recidivism among offenders by focusing on treatment rather than punishment. And I've said all throughout this campaign that I am a huge fan of second chances. I believe that everyone has a bad day. I believe that everyone is entitled to have a second chance, as I've said. And I believe very strongly in that. I also believe that people aren't necessarily entitled to 3rd and 4th chances. I think at some point individuals who can't keep their act together need to be incarcerated. But we have such a problem with overcrowding in our jails. As many of you know, the Union County Jail is a very, very, very small facility. I think it has something less than 30 beds in that facility. So the vast majority of our inmates for Union County are housed at another facility. And the last I knew, that was at a cost of $60 or more per day per inmate. The vast majority, I believe, of those inmates are going to Snyder County, but Union County is paying for it. So, whether you believe in the concept of building a bigger prison in Union County, or you believe in alternative forms of treatment, something needs to be done to alleviate that burden on taxpayers and having to pay those monies to house our inmates in other locations. So I really think that alternatives to sentencing for perhaps first offenders, for those individuals who suffer from mental health issues, our veterans, of course, and then what we're already doing with the DUI and the Drug Treatment Court program can go a long way towards helping to alleviate that burden.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.